25, on quiet farmland near Carnoustie in Angus, Scotland, archaeologists made an extraordinary discovery. Beneath fields that looked ordinary, just grassy farmland stretching to the horizon, they uncovered massive ancient wooden beams arranged with surprising precision. These weren't random logs buried in the soil. They formed an enormous structure unlike anything previously seen in Britain. This wasn't just any archaeological find. It predates even Stonehenge by nearly 1,000 years. Imagine discovering something older and perhaps even more significant than one of the world's most famous ancient sites. Until now, historians believed that early Neolithic people in Britain lived in small, scattered groups focused primarily on basic survival. Yet here, hidden beneath peaceful farmland, was clear proof of a sophisticated community that had successfully organized to build something truly impressive. As archaeologists dug deeper, the mystery deepened too. Deliberately placed oak timbers, intricate pottery shards, and signs of large gatherings suggested a place of communal importance, maybe ceremonial, maybe administrative, perhaps both. But why was it built so far back in history? And why was it abandoned and forgotten for thousands of years? Could this timber structure represent Britain's earliest large-scale communal center? Might it challenge everything we assumed about the capabilities of early societies? Or does it hint at other undiscovered secrets hidden beneath Scottish fields, waiting silently beneath our feet? Stay with us as we explore this fascinating archaeological mystery, a find that's rewriting history as we know it. It began like many archaeological discoveries, a routine survey near Carnoustie in eastern Scotland. In July 2025, archaeologists examined farmland due for development. At first, everything seemed entirely ordinary, just grassy fields and gently rolling terrain, no different from countless other areas across Scotland. But beneath that calm surface, something extraordinary lay hidden. Ground-penetrating radar first revealed intriguing shapes beneath the soil, unusual symmetrical patterns that didn't match natural geological features. Encouraged by these promising hints, archaeologists began digging exploratory trenches. It didn't take long before their efforts paid off. Massive oak timbers, perfectly preserved under thousands of years of soil, emerged from the earth. Imagine the excitement as archaeologists brushed dirt from ancient wood, realizing they were standing on the threshold of an incredible discovery. Word spread quickly. Experts across Britain hurried to see the findings firsthand, instantly recognizing its potential significance. Early excitement turned to astonishment as they uncovered more. These timbers weren't randomly placed. They were arranged with deliberate precision, forming a massive rectangular structure stretching about 35 meters long and 9 meters wide, larger than any previously known Neolithic building in Britain. Archaeologist Dr. Susan McKay recalls vividly the first moment she saw the timber beams. When we uncovered the first massive timber beam, everyone went silent. It was clear we'd found something extraordinary. I remember carefully brushing away soil and suddenly realizing I was touching something no human had seen for thousands of years. Moments like that remind you why archaeology is so thrilling. Initial reactions ranged from cautious excitement to outright amazement. Senior archaeologists called it unprecedented, knowing they'd found something special. Media quickly caught wind, bringing national and international attention to this quiet Scottish field. But the archaeologists stayed methodical, excavating, analyzing, and piecing together clues. Pottery shards, animal bones, and ancient fire pits soon surfaced, suggesting large communal gatherings once took place here. But the deeper they dug, the more mysteries they uncovered. Who exactly built this vast timber hall, and what was its purpose? Beneath the tranquil farmland, archaeologists had stumbled onto something that challenged historical assumptions about early Neolithic societies. But what exactly had they found, buried beneath the soil? As archaeologists continued digging at the site, the huge size of this ancient timber hall quickly became clear. Measuring about 35 meters long and 9 meters wide, this was clearly a major construction project, requiring significant effort and teamwork. To put that into perspective, think of a structure roughly the size of a modern tennis court, built by people more than 6,000 years ago. As soil was cleared away, a rectangular layout emerged, defined by rows of large wooden posts. Each timber, made from oak, was specifically chosen, shaped, and placed with surprising accuracy, especially considering the limited tools available back then. Many posts were remarkably intact, some still standing upright, others lying where they'd fallen thousands of years ago. A closer look at the timbers showed impressive skill. Oak trees from nearby forests were shaped and smoothed with simple stone tools. Tool marks on the beams clearly showed careful craftsmanship. They noticed that the posts were evenly spaced and set at consistent depths, suggesting the builders had a clear plan and worked together systematically. Inside the hall, archaeologists found clues suggesting different areas had specific uses. Central hearths, easily identified by areas of charred earth and soot-covered stones, indicated communal fires. These fires would have been focal points for people gathering inside. The hearths were evenly spaced down the length of the hall, possibly dividing the interior into separate zones. Nearby, pottery, animal bones, and grain remnants suggested large gatherings, feasting, and possibly ceremonies. There were also hints of partitions, or internal sections, within the hall. Shallow grooves and additional post holes suggested there might have been smaller, separate spaces within the main building. These areas could have been used for storage, private meetings, or perhaps special rituals. However, their exact purposes remain unclear, keeping the mystery alive and driving further study. Additionally, archaeologists found careful details like stone paving near some entrances, suggesting the builders wanted this hall to look impressive or hold special meaning. Every detail of its construction was intentional, raising curiosity about its builders. Standing there today, archaeologists envision massive posts supporting a large roof, crowds gathering around roaring fires. Thousands of years ago, the ancient tribes of Carnoustie would have stood inside this large hall, flames lighting up the faces of people gathered for meals, ceremonies, or important meetings. This visualization gives us a real sense of what life was like back then, and how this ancient society achieved something far more impressive than what historians previously thought. The moment archaeologists uncovered the scale and sophistication of the Carnoustie timber hall, they immediately wondered, who exactly built this and when? Radiocarbon dating soon provided clear answers, placing its construction around 4000 BC, right at the dawn of Britain's early Neolithic era. To understand this remarkable structure fully, let's step back in time and consider who these early Neolithic people were. Until around the 4th millennium BC, most communities in Britain were small groups of nomadic hunter-gatherers, following herds and seasonal cycles across the landscape. But something significant changed during this period. Agriculture arrived in Britain, transforming how people lived, settled, and organized themselves. Early Neolithic communities began cultivating crops, raising cattle, and settling permanently near fertile lands and fresh water. Farming meant stability, allowing communities to grow and establish permanent villages. Over time, people built more elaborate structures for gatherings, ceremonies, and communal events, moving away from basic survival toward complex social organization. Daily life in early Neolithic Scotland centered around these seasonal cycles and agriculture. Villagers gathered early each morning to tend their fields of barley and wheat, foraged wild berries and roots from nearby woodlands, and hunted deer and boar in surrounding forests. Each community member had clear roles, from farming and herding animals to crafting pottery and stone tools. Regular trade with neighboring communities helped spread new ideas, pottery styles, and farming techniques, turning isolated villages into interconnected hubs. It's likely communities around Carnoustie collaborated closely, gathering regularly at central places like this timber hall to trade, socialize, and perhaps even arrange marriages or alliances. The people who built the Carnoustie Timber Hall were part of these early agricultural communities in Scotland. They were connected culturally and economically to groups across Europe, particularly those from what we now call France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Farming practices, pottery styles, and communal traditions traveled north through migration and trade, gradually reaching communities in Scotland and influencing their way of life. These early farming communities in Scotland weren't large by modern standards, but they were highly organized, collaborative, and innovative. They cleared forests with polished stone axes, built houses with timber frames and thatched roofs, and developed pottery for storing grains and liquids, crucial advances for successful farming and storage. When archaeologists looked closely at the Carnoustie Hall, they saw evidence of these impressive skills. The oak timbers were expertly shaped, smoothed and sized using stone tools. Each timber was precisely positioned, indicating clear planning and coordination among multiple communities working together. This level of organized labor strongly suggests early forms of social leadership or community collaboration, enabling groups to pool resources and efforts for large projects. Interestingly, at roughly the same period across Northern Europe, similar large-scale timber halls and ceremonial sites were emerging in areas like Germany and Denmark. The Carnoustie Hall might represent a Scottish extension of these cultural traditions, reflecting widespread connections and shared practices. Early Neolithic people also shared distinct ceremonial traditions. Across Britain, communal burial practices involving large tombs or cairns suggest rituals emphasizing ancestors and community identity. The Carnoustie Hall, with its large central hearths and communal spaces, could have hosted similar communal rituals or gatherings, reinforcing social ties and shared beliefs among communities. While archaeologists haven't found written records, as writing didn't exist in Britain during this period, physical evidence, pottery, tools, and burial practices paints a vivid picture of early Neolithic life. Far from isolated groups struggling to survive, these were organized, collaborative communities capable of remarkable projects. This makes Carnoustie's Timber Hall even more remarkable. It challenges previous assumptions that large communal buildings like this emerged later in Britain's history. The sheer size, age, and complexity indicate advanced social organization and skill far earlier than historians previously thought. Yet, many questions remain. Exactly why was such an ambitious hall constructed here? What prompted its eventual abandonment and burial beneath the earth? And what might future archaeological excavations reveal about this impressive early Neolithic community? They didn't exactly leave us a guestbook labeled Neolithic Builders 4000 BC, but archaeologists continue uncovering clues to this fascinating mystery. With such a massive and elaborately constructed timber hall, archaeologists naturally asked, why did the ancient builders go to all this trouble? Luckily, clues from the excavation offered some fascinating answers. The most striking finds were thousands of animal bones scattered throughout the site. These weren't random animal remains. They were evidence of massive feasts, almost like huge prehistoric barbecues. Picture entire communities gathered around roaring fires, roasting cattle, sheep, and pigs, and sharing food in communal celebrations. Such feasts required extensive organization. Think large-scale planning, food preparation, and distribution. Clearly, this timber hall wasn't just a casual meeting spot. It was the heart of communal life, designed for gatherings on an impressive scale. Pottery fragments found near central hearths added to this picture. Carefully crafted pots and containers indicated food preparation, storage, and serving activities were frequent events here. This pottery wasn't just practical. It was beautifully decorated, suggesting skilled artisans and culturally significant traditions. Those central hearths themselves were methodically positioned along the hall's length, dividing the interior into distinct zones, possibly for different social groups or ceremonial purposes. Additionally, archaeologists discovered intriguing stone paving near entrances. These deliberately placed stones suggest that entering the hall wasn't a casual affair. It may have been ceremonial, perhaps designed to impress or convey a sense of significance and respect. Beyond feasting, researchers speculate this hall also served administrative or governance functions. With such size and centrality, it's plausible local leaders gathered here to discuss community affairs, resolve conflicts, and plan future projects, like harvests or construction. Ritual activity also seems likely. Neolithic people frequently combined practical meetings with symbolic ceremonies to reinforce community cohesion. Despite these convincing clues, we still can't be entirely certain. The lack of written records means every interpretation relies on careful analysis of physical evidence. However, the emerging picture is compelling. This timber hall was clearly a vibrant communal center, fundamental for the community's daily and ceremonial life. Could its abandonment have involved deliberate choice or external pressures? For now, the purpose of this remarkable hall remains partially hidden, leaving archaeologists eager to uncover more. One of the most captivating aspects of Carnoustie's timber hall is its age, predating Stonehenge by nearly a millennium. This discovery challenges our understanding of Britain's ancient monuments. Stonehenge, famous for its massive stones transported from great distances, has long been considered the pinnacle of early British construction. But Carnoustie's builders were accomplishing impressive feats far earlier. Unlike Stonehenge's stones, the Carnoustie Hall was constructed primarily from massive oak timbers harvested nearby and shaped with precision using only simple stone tools. While Stonehenge is famous for astronomical alignments and careful placement, Carnoustie demonstrates a different yet equally sophisticated approach: precise woodworking, a symmetrical layout, and advanced building methods for the time. Comparisons with other ancient British sites highlight Carnoustie's uniqueness. Avebury, known for huge standing stones arranged in circular patterns, also emerged later. Similarly, Orkney's Ness of Brodgar, a sophisticated stone complex, appeared centuries after Carnoustie's timber structure. Clearly, Carnoustie predates many celebrated Neolithic sites, showing advanced social organization and monumental building far earlier than previously thought. Elsewhere in Northern Europe, similar impressive timber halls have recently been discovered. For instance, archaeologists in Germany unearthed the remains of a 7,000-year-old timber structure near Leipzig, notable for its vast scale and sophisticated internal divisions. Similarly, in Denmark, ancient timber buildings known as longhouses date back to roughly the same period. These finds suggest large timber constructions were more common than previously assumed, reflecting widespread cultural practices across early Neolithic Europe. So why have we overlooked timber structures compared to stone monuments? Perhaps because stone endures longer, leaving more obvious traces. Timber structures, however impressive, decay and vanish quickly beneath layers of soil, making them harder to discover. Carnoustie's timber hall, hidden for thousands of years, dramatically changes how archaeologists view Neolithic Britain's earliest societies. Could other monumental timber structures from this era remain undiscovered? Archaeologists now suspect Scotland might hide many similar surprises beneath its fields, silently buried waiting for discovery. Given the excitement of discovering Carnoustie's ancient timber hall, archaeologists are now considering: could other equally impressive Neolithic structures still remain hidden in Scotland and Northern Europe? The answer is likely yes, and modern technology is helping to reveal these secrets. New methods like LiDAR, laser scanning from aircraft and drones, are revolutionizing archaeology. LiDAR penetrates dense forests, soil, and vegetation to create precise 3D maps, uncovering hidden landscapes below. Already, LiDAR has transformed archaeological discoveries worldwide, revealing vast ancient cities beneath Central American jungles and hidden monuments in European fields. In Scotland, recent LiDAR scans have uncovered signs of previously unknown Neolithic settlements, earthworks, and monuments beneath farmlands and forests. Alongside LiDAR, aerial photography and ground-penetrating radar help detect buried features invisible at ground level, from buried ditches to stone circles. Recently, new discoveries have emerged across Scotland, highlighting just how much history remains hidden. In Aberdeenshire, LiDAR scans revealed a vast complex of previously unknown Neolithic enclosures and earthworks hidden beneath farmland. Similarly, in the Scottish borders, geophysical surveys uncovered evidence of substantial ancient timber structures. These discoveries hint strongly that Carnoustie's Timber Hall is just the beginning. Each new find adds exciting layers to Scotland's early history, suggesting that entire networks of Neolithic communities remain buried, waiting to be uncovered. The implication is clear. Many more monumental structures, similar to Carnoustie, could lie hidden. Scotland's farmland has been actively cultivated for centuries, gradually burying or obscuring older structures beneath layers of soil. Now, modern scanning techniques give archaeologists powerful tools to find these lost structures, promising many exciting discoveries in coming years. Could future excavations uncover other monumental halls, temples, or ceremonial centers dating back even further than Carnoustie? With each passing year, technology unveils new archaeological treasures. So who knows what surprises Scotland still has hidden beneath its quiet countryside. The discovery of the Carnoustie Timber Hall was groundbreaking, but the story doesn't stop there. In fact, archaeologists believe they've barely scratched the surface, literally. Right now, they're gearing up for new excavations, planning to expand the dig site and uncover even more about this fascinating Neolithic structure and the community that built it. In the coming months, archaeologists plan targeted excavations at sites near Carnoustie, identified by LiDAR and ground-penetrating radar. One promising area, just east of the Timber Hall, shows signs of possible additional structures, perhaps smaller halls or dwellings. Scientists will conduct detailed soil analyses, searching for ancient pollen and seeds, helping us better understand the local environment during the Neolithic period. Collaborations with international experts will also bring new technologies, including advanced radiocarbon dating and microscopic analysis of pottery fragments, potentially unlocking fascinating new insights into Neolithic life and trade across Britain and Northern Europe. Future research at the Carnoustie site will also involve detailed analyses of artifacts already uncovered, including pottery fragments, animal bones, and structural materials. Experts aim to understand more precisely how people lived, organized their community, and carried out daily activities thousands of years ago. Preservation specialists will also play a critical role, scientifically conserving fragile timbers and other delicate remains so that future generations can continue to study and learn from them. But the research won't stop at Carnoustie. Archaeologists are already examining promising areas nearby, guided by modern technology such as LiDAR and ground-penetrating radar. These tools reveal hidden features beneath the Scottish countryside, allowing scientists to identify new potential archaeological sites. Researchers anticipate uncovering other significant settlements or communal spaces, perhaps even more ancient structures, similar to Carnoustie's Timber Hall. What's especially exciting is that these additional discoveries could completely transform our understanding of Neolithic Scotland. We might discover entire complexes of halls, villages, and ceremonial sites, reshaping how we see early communities across Northern Europe. The potential significance of future excavations is enormous, promising to add fresh details and clarity to this remarkable chapter of history. Ongoing research will also examine environmental data, helping us understand what led communities to build such ambitious structures in specific locations. Experts will study ancient pollen, seeds, and soil samples to reveal how early Neolithic people adapted to their surroundings and managed their environment successfully for centuries. One of the most intriguing questions is whether the Timber Hall at Carnoustie was unique or part of a broader network of similar communal structures scattered across Scotland. Could these halls have hosted gatherings, rituals, or perhaps meetings of regional leaders, connecting early communities into a wider network than we thought? As archaeologists continue to explore these mysteries, each discovery will undoubtedly deepen our fascination with Scotland's distant past. With every shovel of dirt and every new find, we edge closer to understanding a remarkable era when early Scottish communities